How do you feel when you see children in concentration camps in the United States? When these pictures came out around 6 years ago, people in the United States and abroad were completely horrified. My mother died not long after that election when this was going on, and some months later, my father and sister and I took a pilgrimage to Ireland because my mother's family came from there. And Ireland has had a pretty tragic history of its own, of its people being starved to death en masse, which most Irish people regard today as a genocide. But in the US, we were taught was just a potato famine, a naturally occurring virus. It's not really true. That's not the whole story. But anyway, people in Ireland were very sensitive to what they were seeing, and they were questioning us about it. Small children next to military officers with loaded weapons at eye level, entirely at their mercy, separated from their parents. The whole world was appalled, including people who frankly supported and encouraged it in the United States. But as the Anti-Defamation League says, it's a new day in America. This is a new beginning, they say, hopefully and optimistically. This was their response to Elon Musk's salute, which they say was just an awkward gesture of enthusiasm. But while Elon Musk is enthusiastic about this new opportunity, and while the Anti-Defamation League is enthusiastic about this opportunity, the photos are virtually indecipherable from one another, except that the ones from the 1940s obviously are in black and white, and the children come from different ethnic groups today than they did then. I can't make sense of it. I cannot make sense of the Anti-Defamation League supporting this. I really cannot make sense of many of the specific individuals who are making this happen. Besides promoting hate speech on all meta networks, this person gave $1 million transaction to help make this happen again. And I ask you, what is the difference between this and this? What is the difference? The man in the middle who you buy all of your Amazon products from, all of them, and Whole Foods. He too gave $1 million in cash to make this happen again. Look at this picture. Look at this picture. What is the difference between these pictures? How does anybody tolerate this, much less justify it? This person too gave $1 million to fund these things happening. He is the CEO of Apple. Now, this man had his company pay $1 million, and so did this man. But this man, the CEO of Apple, wrote $1 million check personally from his own personal accounts. $1 million to pay for a party the day before this began again. A party for the people who are making this happen. This man, too, was at the inauguration. He also paid $1 million in cash to the man being inaugurated. He also paid out of his personal bank accounts. I believe he is speaking with one of the people who was imprisoned for trying to overthrow the United States government. He too has expressed excitement over the new era and the people who are making that era happen. I'm just so deeply confounded. I cannot rationalize this. In case it wasn't clear enough, does seeing these photos side by side do anything at all for anybody? I mean, for years and years and years, I heard people say they couldn't stand Sarah McLachlan's song Angel because of ASPCA commercials that made them so distraught over seeing dogs in cages. These are children, human beings, then and now. There isn't any difference. There actually is zero difference except time and geography and photographic technology and the people who are making this happen. Back then, It was a militarized government and a passively accepting German populace doing this primarily to Jewish people. Today, it is a supposedly democratically elected American government doing this with the passive acceptance of the American people and with the active empowerment by corporate overlords. And the thing I find just beyond comprehension is the ancestral backgrounds of the American people. Not all of them, but it appears to be actually the majority of the corporate moguls who are underwriting this have family backgrounds that should make them particularly disturbed and disgusted by this, should make them invest their money in preventing this from ever happening, but they're actually paying for it. They're actually paying for it. All of those men who wrote all of those checks, all of them were sitting in the first two rows watching this and applauding it. It really feels like we are living in hell. I don't understand how some of these people can have anything to do with this. It's like the bleakest, most abysmal point that humanity could ever reach for.